Is censorship the way that you want to live in the future? Because that is what this bill that the Labor government in Australia is right now bringing through to try to make law. About 10 days before the 30th of September, the government said, because of the opposition, the government said that the people could put submissions in if they opposed it. But of course, they didn't tell the people that they had the opportunity to do that. It was very quietly proposed to a very small amount of people. So luckily we have great networks and we managed to get all the information out. So we ended up with about 6 or 7 days where we could write to the government using their protocols in order to oppose the misinformation and the disinformation bill, which we are calling the MAD bill because that's the acronym for it, and it is a MAD bill. So as of the 30th of September, which was last Monday, there will be 60 days of inquiry into submissions. Now, you will have major organisations and major human rights groups and concerned citizens putting forward submissions. But the regulations within the government allow them to either refuse or accept a submission. So we know, for example, there was one podcaster who usually has maybe 2,000 views a week. When he had his little podcast about the misinformation and disinformation bill, he had 77,000 views of that particular podcast. So let's say the entirety of Australia does not want to be censored. They do not want to lose their freedom of expression. They want to be able to be free to talk about their views and opinions, whether or not they coincide with the narrative that is put out by the government of the day. If you're paying attention to what is happening around the world, you will see that numerous governments are working in lockstep under the direction of the United Nations. The United Nations wish to have control over what you say and what you do. Their reasoning behind this is because what you say and what you do causes harm to the government. Now you tell me how what you think can cause harm to the government. The only harm that would come to the government is that they would be in the wrong and they would need to be removed. And that is what they don't want. So I urge you all to go and look up this bill, the Misinformation and Disinformation Bill. You'll find it on any government website if you put in those words. You must not allow this bill to be passed. It will be going back to Parliament at the beginning of December, and by then it needs to be dead in the water, and it needs to never ever have an opportunity to be presented again. So you must go and pledge your support for the opposition of this bill. Otherwise, you, your children, particularly your children, they won't be able to use their social media. The government intends to fine large tech companies as basically as the punishment for you or your children standing up for what they believe is right. So in the event of a tech company being fined millions of dollars for every post that someone does, They are going to adjust all of their algorithms so that you will be silenced. We cannot be silenced as a people and citizens of this country. We are supposedly in a democracy. I think it's about time we ask the government what their terms of democracy are, because they're certainly not what we think they are. And they're doing nothing at all at the moment to help us to think that we live in a free, democratic society. So thank you for your time. We're going to keep walking. And please get on board with opposing a censorship of all the people of this country. Thank you.